Can Kyle beat the Rams without Mike McDaniel? What do you think? Is Kyle going to pull a rabbit out of his hat on his own this week?
He has to because you have no Trent Williams now, so the running game is really tough. Look, I watched the first half last night of the Rams versus Cardinals, and first of all, my first takeaway is the Cardinals suck. Jesus, the 49ers don't sweep them. They're so bad. They look like they don't care.
Yeah.
But the Rams on
that looks like a team that looks like a team with a coach who's lost the locker room. Keep going.
Yeah,
sorry.
that team looks like a team. Yeah, they're just playing out. They're going out there playing COD after the game. But
yeah,
I digress. The Rams. What I notice is the key to them is obviously Cooper Kupp, which is funny. We're talking about can Kyle do this without McDaniels? I'm watching Sean McVay get the ball in Cooper Kupp's hand in the most unique ways, creative.
Yeah,
he's not even worried. He's giving it on quick jet sweeps. I'm like, wait, where'd the ball go? I'm like, what the hell? So, I mean, he's finding creative ways. So, I think what Kyle's going to have to figure out is how he's going to keep the offense afloat against that defensive line, because I don't know how good Cardinals' offensive line is, but regardless of what level they're at, if it's just average, which is what the 49ers kind of is, that Rams defensive line is going to blow up the 49ers offensive line. Because Kyler Murray, for all his athleticism and his escape pressure, he was running for his life a good portion of the time, and he couldn't escape a lot of it. And you're not expecting Jimmy to do that. So you better hope that those balls – I'm expecting everything's going to be quick in terms of pass game. Run game, they tended to figure it out. For some reason, the offensive line just knows how to, just get up in there against that defensive line, just, bully them a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, what are you going to do? You're going to get some stretch plays? Because they don't have a lot of quick backers. And another thing is Bobby Wagner starts getting blitzed. So they might just pressure Jimmy Garoppolo. I think ultimately the game plan is going to be what they did in the NFC Championship game. And that worked out well where the running game did nothing. And you don't have Elijah Mitchell, who's a better runner. So you're really going to have to figure out some ways to really get some of these players. Kyle's just going to have to scheme his ass off and pretty much just get that defensive line neutralized. If he could do that, and you just got to hope Jimmy can see some parts of the field or give him receivers that are open.
I expect the Niners defense to play well for 3 quarters. They always play well for 3 quarters. But you can't play well for 4 quarters if your offense does nothing, which is what we've seen for the last 9 games from the Niners. They'll break down on defense, and then the defense will take the blame, right? Well, the defense just couldn't be elite for the entire – no, because the offense did nothing. So that's my question. The defense should show up. I don't know if they can win the game on their own unless, the first time they played them last year, they had those 2 picks in the first quarter. If Stafford just gives the game away right away, which he could – the Niners will win. But if it's close going into the end, you know what I mean? The defense will be tired. They won't be able to stop Cooper Kupp. And then on Kyle's side, the way he's always beaten the Rams is running the ball. Bully ball. And what they've been able to do, they've had really good performances from their interior offensive linemen. Laken Tomlinson, Daniel Brunskill, these guys really perform. They really did well against the Rams. Now it's Aaron Banks, Spencer Burford. Neither guy's ever faced Aaron Donald. So we're going to have to see what that's going to be like.
I think another aspect, how I see the 49ers actually having a chance to win this game is that first game for the Rams when they played the Bills, they played a really elite defense. The Niners are a really elite defense. So Stafford might struggle and now actually give them some turnovers because I think he's been okay with – he was turnover crazy against the Falcons too. But
it's 5 picks this year, man. He's 5 picks this year.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
he looked pretty good against the Cardinals. But really, it's just the Niners defense shouldn't have any problem with the Rams offense because I think DeMeco Ryans and Sean McVay always have a good head-to-head. It's pretty much just pay attention to Cooper Kupp because Allen Robinson is terrible. That guy is so slow. My God,
he's terrible, man.
Who am I watching when I see that guy? The running game is moot. So pretty much, it is just Kyle to figure out, can you somehow figure out a way to make sure the Rams defensive line does not make their presence felt throughout the good portion of the game?
Yeah, and it seems like the Niners D-line is just as good as the Rams D-line, and they should be able to do to Stafford what the Rams are going to do to Jimmy. The way I look at Stafford is he's not that good. I mean, he's good enough to win a Super Bowl, but he's like Jimmy with a strong arm. He makes terrible decisions. He gives the ball away. But if you give him time, he will kill you down the field, unlike Jimmy Garoppolo. So I don't expect the Niners to give him a lot of time in the first 3 quarters, but if they have to play the whole game because the Niners offense isn't doing anything in the fourth quarter, Stafford will go off just like the NFC Championship game. And the Niners will lose by 3, even though they'll give up 20 points. So I'm curious to see. This is uncharted territory for Kyle Shanahan. All these games without Mike McDaniel. The first 3 haven't looked so great. Now is the time for you to turn your season around. What you got? You can call your dad up. You can call up all your old-time connections, but can't call it Mike. Can't call it Mike McDaniel.
This is now the second year that is it the second year? Yeah, the second year that Kyle's lost one of his right-hand man. Because remember, it was Mike LaFleur last year, and I was pointing out, like, is that hurting? Because they lost him this passing game because we saw a they were like 3-5, and as bad as Jimmy was, as average as bad as Trey was in his one start against the Cardinals, it was like, look, you shuffle the quarterback. Ultimately, it's I didn't think it was so much the quarterback's fault. Their offense was bad last year. Now you have repeating the same cycle again with this other right-hand man. McDaniel gone. Yeah. And it's like now he's stuck on an island by himself. He's using coaches who he's familiar with, but it's not nowhere near the strength and bond that he's had with LaFleur and McDaniel for all those years. So you lose that part of you, and it's like, well, shoot, now I got to try to make up more, and I got to try to train these guys more. So like you said about the offense looking the same, where does he have the time to figure it out when he's trying to teach these coaches how to prep? Because he's trying to rely on them to get them up to speed, get himself up to speed.
Right, and so he loses McDaniel, and they replace him, like the new guy on the staff. He's not the offensive coordinator, it's Anthony Lynn, who's the assistant head coach and running backs coach. And I'm sure he has input on the game planning because he's a former coordinator and he's assistant head coach. But he's not, I mean, for example, he was the OC for the Lions last year. They fired him after 1 year. The offense was averaging 19 points per game. Not all his fault. But this year, new OC, guy I'd never heard of, named Ben Johnson, they're number 2 in the league in scoring, averaging 31 points per game. So Anthony Lynn isn't exactly, an offensive guru right now. I think they brought him in more for leadership, which is good. Leadership is important. The Niners have a void there too. But I think right now, we talked about, they need creativity this week. Where's it coming from? It's got to come from Kyle. Show that you're creative. People are wondering about you, man. Are you fool's gold? Are you Fugazi? We got to see it right now. Not just the first. You have nice scripts. What's up with the second half, though? You should be really smart there, too, if you're a guru.